What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and Michigan football just had their 2023 spring game as the Maize team beat the blue team 22-21 in a thriller. Gonna go ahead and go over everything, including standout players from the spring game, and also give my thoughts and analysis and which players really stood out in the spring game today. It's all gonna be in this video, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so the Maize team beat the blue team 22-21 in the spring game today. They actually won with a 2-point conversion. The blue team did have a chance to win it on their final drive. However, they got stopped on 4th and short. But let's go ahead and talk about how J.J. McCarthy did. Now, apparently he actually wasn't even supposed to play in the second quarter. However, the quarters were 12 minutes long except for the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter was 15 minutes long, and J.J. McCarthy kind of got off to a slow start. Now, McCarthy was wearing a white jersey, so no players could tackle him or anything. On his first series, he threw a pick kind of over the head of tight end Marlon Klein. He was wide open, but he just overthrew him, and that ball was picked off by Quentin Johnson of the blue team. And then in the second quarter, McCarthy couldn't get really anything going except for the final drive before halftime, and McCarthy threw some good receptions to Peyton O'Leary, who is actually a former walk-on Michigan. Just put him on a scholarship this past off season. Very cool for him, and he had a very good game. We'll talk about him later. He had some pretty good highlight-worthy catches, and on that same drive, McCarthy, with a couple seconds left on the clock before halftime, threw a laser to Jake Thaw in the end zone to tie the game 7-7 going into halftime. Now, before that, in the first quarter, Jack Tuttle actually had an outstanding opening drive. Jack Tuttle, obviously the Indiana transfer quarterback, and him, Davis Warren, Alex Orji, all competing for the backup position. Right now, I have to say Jack Tuttle is looking pretty good for that position. He had several third and fourth down situations where they converted. He had some good passes in there, and they finished the drive off with Khalil Mullings running it into the end zone. It took a 7-0 lead later on in the first quarter, and the rest of the scores were in the second half. But Frederick Moore, he had a couple catches. We saw some glimpses of him on the field. Colson Loveland also saw some action, had a great catch from Jack Tuttle for 14 yards or so. Tuttle was also running the ball there a lot, sliding, avoiding contacts. That was cool to see. He also found former Indiana tight end and teammate A.J. Barner. He actually had a late touchdown from Alex Orji to, I believe, give the blue team a 21-14 lead in the fourth quarter. Tuttle did have one interception. It was picked off by sophomore safety Zeke Berry. He actually had a great game today. I was excited to see him out there on the field. In the third quarter, Davis Warren was the quarterback for the Maize team. Tuttle was still out there for the blue team, mixed in with Alex Orji as well. Now, early on, we saw a glimpse in the second half of Jair Hill, the 4-star freshman cornerback. He actually had an interception. However, it was called back. It was cool to see him out there, though. Great to see him get an almost interception, although it was called back. And then later on in the third quarter, it was still tied 7-7. Jack Tuttle did fumble the ball. It was Ernest Hausman, the Nebraska transfer. He forced the fumble. The Maize team got the ball back. Ernest Hausman had a great game, actually. He had 5 tackles in the first half. He definitely has talent. Can't wait to see him this upcoming season, but he forced the fumble. And then literally on the next series, Davis Warren threw a pick to Miles Pollard. It's a pretty poor decision. It was Darius Clemens on the wheel route. It just was not open there. Miles Pollard got the pick. Then the next drive, Alex Orji was out there along with Benjamin Hall. Benjamin Hall had a great game, including a couple monster runs. He also got a touchdown to put the blue team up 14-13. He ran the ball 13 times in the spring game today for 96 yards and a touchdown. Mike Hart, post-game, says Benjamin Hall going to be special. There's no doubt about it. He really surprised a lot of people today. We talked about him, how he was impressing in practice. He lived up to it today, so that's very cool to see, especially with all the questions that everybody had in his senior year of high school. Wasn't really performing that well, but he is coming together nicely now. And in the second half, in the fourth quarter, Peyton O'Leary and Davis Warren, they were finding each other on the field. Peyton O'Leary, man, he had a very good game, and the Maize responded to tie the game 14-14 in the fourth quarter with the Tavier Dunlop run up the middle. The next drive for the blue team, Alex Orji and Benjamin Hall doing their thing again. Samaj Morgan almost brought in a nice one-handed catch, just couldn't grab it in the end zone. Did get his hands on it though, but Alex Orji threw a touchdown pass to AJ Barner, the Indiana transfer, to go up 21-14. Then for the Maize, leading the drive again, Davis Warren, and Peyton O'Leary was just getting the better side against a Morion Walker. Morion Walker, you know, we talked about him. He's still raw. He's got the athleticism to be a cornerback. He didn't really look that great out there today. However, like I said, you know, he is just switching to the cornerback position. He's got a lot to work on, though, clearly. But Peyton O'Leary was getting the best of him. And Leon Franklin punches it in for the Maize, and they go to Peyton O'Leary for the 2-point conversion again against Morion Walker. And the Maize ended up winning the game 22-21. So again, the offensive players that really stood out today was for the blue team, Benjamin Hall, and then for the Maize team, it was Peyton O'Leary at wide receiver. On the defensive side, the defensive line was actually pretty solid today. We did see Nikai Hill-Green out there. It was awesome to see him at the linebacker position. Again, Ernest Hausman, he had a great game. He had 5 tackles in the first half. We also had a strip fumble as Jack Tuttle fumbled the ball. Sophomore edge Derek Moore also had a nice game today, making plays. He also absolutely blew up a draw play as Benjamin Hall was running it. Also on the Benjamin Hall 32-yard run, almost scored on the play. There was a nice block by freshman Amir Hurring. And again, the defensive line was very good. Kenneth Grant and also Josiah Stewart. Defense has a lot of talent. Clearly the offense in the running back room especially has a lot of talent. And also the wide receivers didn't really get to see too much of Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson out there. However, we did get to see freshmen Frederick Moore, also Samaj Morgan, and Peyton O'Leary, man. They all had good games today, especially Peyton O'Leary. Josiah Stewart did have a sack today. You could tell that he was definitely quick off the ball, and he was very disruptive on the defensive line on the defense. But let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of the spring game altogether. It was nice to see Michigan football again. Nice to see all the amazing and young talent that we have out there. But again, let me know what you guys thought of the spring game, and also let me know your guys' key players from the game and also your key takeaways from the game, what you found most interesting. But other than that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. The Maize team beats the blue team 22-21, and other than that, hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. We will see you guys in the next video. Peace.